Motivated largely by the beatification of Edmund Rice in 1995, the local Christian brothers, including those already mentioned, Dan Stewart and Jude Butcher and Julia MacDonald, decided that there was to be an evolution of the Edmund Rice mission in Australia beyond school education. So they instituted the Edmund Rice Centre. They mandated its vision about awareness, advocacy and action. And so we will now have a special occasional address from the Oceania Province leader, Brother Gerard Brady, on how Phil carried that mandate forward. Brother Gerard.
Adrian, thank you very much. And not to be outdone by the last speaker, Phil, I'm toasting you with a glass of wine tonight. But it is tonight a cast of thousands as we look around this hall. We hear those speakers who represent so many people from different backgrounds and different areas that have been involved with Phil over the years. And those people capture hundreds and thousands of stories. So it is my delight to gather with each of you tonight on this sacred land of the Gadigal clan of the Darug tribe, and grateful very much to you for your introduction to us tonight, Damien Darug, on behalf of the Edmund Rice Centre. I acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging, and in this momentous year of the referendum and voice to Parliament, recognise their relationship to this land. And as Phil always reminds us, it always was and always will be Gadigal country. I also pay honour to the presence of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people present with us tonight. The Edmund Rice movement walks in solidarity with you in this referendum, a journey that, in the words of that great spiritual of the African Americans, soon and one day soon will be healing with truth-telling and a treaty. So Phil, I need to find you. There you are. Now stand up just a minute. And I want you to look around this room. Just have a look around this room. Thanks, Phil. The faces, the memories, the places with their joys, moments of liberation and struggle are contained here among these people who have come to acknowledge you tonight and the important place that you have played in our lives. Because each face holds a story, an encounter that is special, and it is that we celebrate with you tonight. As we've heard, in 1996, the Christian Brothers honoured the memory of our founder, Blessed Edmund Rice, in Rome, where the Universal Church acknowledged his extraordinary vision for the liberation of youth in Ireland and beyond in the early 1800s. Those present returned with a passion for justice in our earth community, and out of that emerged a vision for a centre that would focus its energies on justice, on advocacy and community education. It was the leadership team, and I think they're all represented here tonight. Brother Julian MacDonald was its leader, Brother Dan Stewart, Brother Peter Hancock and Brother Tony Whelan, who with Brother Jude Butcher transformed a dream into a reality. I acknowledge them as a founding community because it's always in community no matter where we are, that dreams are born. They also had the insight to select you, Phil, as the founding director, and their choice is affirmed here tonight. What was in the minds and hearts of those who gathered nearly 30 years ago at the Brothers Province Centre in Balmain? What did they envisage? What hopes did they hold? Tonight, we hold that dream that has come alive under your leadership, Phil. I am reminded of those famous words etched in history by the late Bobby Kennedy. Some see things as they are and ask why. I dream things that never were and asked why not. So this provides an entree into tonight's tribute. Let us spend just a few moments reflecting on your leadership, Phil. And I'm just asking each of us for a moment to think about Phil's leadership, how he exercised it. What words come to mind for you that capture something particular about his way of being a leader? Just think for a moment. What might be the word that comes to your mind when you think of Phil's leadership? Now, I'm just going to invite you to share that word with the people next to you and see what you hear. I'd be fairly convinced and pretty sure that most of the words, Phil, were reverent that we're talking about you tonight. But the words that come to my mind are these, and maybe they capture some of yours. Compassionate leader, presence, collaborative, tenacious, determined, vulnerable. Phil, your leadership of this centre has opened doors to so many over the years. In fact, that is my first memory of coming to the centre to meet with you when I accepted the role of formation here in Sydney some 10 or so years ago. I must say I entered the centre quite tentative, as no doubt many of you might identify with when you go in to meet Phil for the first time, because he does not suffer fools easily. I felt inadequate. Whatever could I provide here in a place that lives and breathes its mission so profoundly? But like you, what amazed me was I came to an open door, and whatever Phil was doing at the time, he stopped immediately, got out of his chair, stretched out his hand and said those great words of welcome. Welcome, comrade. I was welcome for who I was, not for what I could do. And that, I think, is an amazing gift of your leadership. You welcome us as we are and who we are, Phil. That encounter immediately invites you to feel part of a mission together. This centre is here with you. The circumstances, the struggles, the pain, the injustices, whatever it is that has brought you to that open doorway is acknowledged and heard and felt. While Phil is strategic, some may say cunning and politically savvy, anyone who incurs the wrath and reprimand of prime ministers of this country knows this to be very true. But more so, Phil comes to the issue as a matter of the heart. What impact is this issue having on isolated Aboriginal communities? what injustices are being enacted in this bill in Parliament, what harm is being done to the refugee and the asylum seeker, denied their international rights and incarcerated as criminals in this country that says and proclaims in its national anthem, "We are young and free." Yes, along with his competent team, he researches and gets the facts. And was that not shown in the detailed and dangerous work done in Afghanistan in the SBS series, Deported to Danger and a Well-Founded Fear? That could be enough to stir and disturb a nation's conscience, but it does not stop there with Phil. He has always formed partnerships with others, doing this work of justice and advocacy, forming alliances of those willing to commit themselves to the hard and onerous work to get things moving. In doing so, this provides the forums for voices of those treated with injustice to be heard, to be amplified, to be noticed. Phil takes it to the next step of working for change, both within and beyond the system, finding the means and using his cunning. No doubt his dad, Laurie, will attest to this. As a young boy at his home, his former principal, Brian Berg at St Leo's Wahroonga, I'm sure they all saw in Phil that cunning and motivation that gets things done, what is right and what is just. In recent years, Pope Francis reflected on social conscience and change in his defining book, Let Us Dream. He says this: "You have to go to the edges of existence if you want to see the world as it is. I've always thought that the world looks clearer from the periphery." And does that not reflect how Phil has been in leadership with us? Always forging relationships in communities, listening to their heartfelt story and returning changed and transformed because of those experiences and the encounter with each person. We can name such communities tonight in Gaduga, Darwin, Afghanistan, the Kiribati, the UNHCR. These are some places that have opened doorways at this centre to form partnerships for action and change. To join together from all our expressions of faith and cultural backgrounds for the common good of our common home is at the heart and soul of this work. Collaboration is at the heart of Phil's leadership, and its purpose has always been for the common good. It is the treasure of relationships that have grown, developed, and been nurtured in the many configurations of this Edmund Rice Centre for Justice and Community Education under your leadership, Phil. And I acknowledge that tonight. Your presence and skills will continue in your role now as Chair of the Board of Edmund Rice International, based in Geneva, working in advocacy for the rights of children across our many networks internationally. And you will there continue to agitate for change. So let us look around tonight and be assured that you feel have made a difference in our lives and the lives of so many others who are not here. You have drawn us into their story, confronted us with their truth that must be told. You have inspired by that early dream of Blessed Edmund Rice in Ireland to take it to heart and to make it your own. So tonight we gather to say thank you, because you have given your all for the cause, And that is what moves and impels us to continue to take it forward. Thank you, Phil Glendenning, for your leadership. Thank you, comrade.
Thanks so much, Jared, and a fitting tribute. We are again going to have a short lapse in proceedings here because it's important to keep your fluids up and to grab another bite to eat. But we'll keep the show moving on, rolling on in about 10 or 15 minutes. So thank you.